Um, One last year, and they're back. Siemens Digital Industry Software. And Bevan, let's get you going. There he is. I recognize your face. I used to live not far from you guys,
That's right.
and
I
not
do
far from
remember
you.
that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I have visited your company multiple times. I knew the founders actually,
Of course.
but
Of course.
and anyway, in any case, so Bevan Later is the director of digital support. I'm sorry, director of digital support experience and knowledge management for Siemens Digital Industry Software. So, Bevan, before I introduce our judge, why don't you go ahead and tell people a little bit more about yourself, what you do, and not everybody knows who and what Siemens Digital Industry Software is. So you need to explain the mentor, background and all that.
Sure. Yeah, I would be happy to. Yeah, nice to be here again, Al. It's a pleasure. As you mentioned, we won last year, and it's nice to come back and be a part of it again. Best part is as many have said up to this point is the feedback that we get from all the judges, and being able to utilize that feedback to create action plans and efforts to make the experience better based upon that feedback, and also to see great sites like we've just seen from Christine and the Red Hat team. So kudos to them. Excellent site, beautiful, well done. So Bevan Leader with Siemens. Um, let's see. So I've been with Siemens for a few years now, but I was with Mentor Graphics before that within the EDA business. And we were acquired by Siemens, Siemens AG, which is the parent company out of Germany. We were acquired by them, gosh, I don't know, about 5 years ago or so. Uh, and that we were acquired by their software arm. So as you know, Siemens is an enormous company, 300,000 plus employees with the company holistically, with a lot of different arms or divisions within the company. We sit within their software side, so they have an enormous hardware side of the business that handles locomotives and windmills and you name it. They Siemens has a division for it, but we sit specifically within the software side. And so they have their product lifecycle management tools and applications that have been a part of Siemens for many years. They wanted to increase their breadth into the EDA space, electronic design automation, and so they acquired Mentor, like I said, about 4 or 5 years ago, to kind of bring in that holistic end-to-end approach to be able to solve customers' needs when it comes to product lifecycle management, CAD, things like that, as well as the electronic design automation. And so we were acquired. It's been a fantastic acquisition. You can't always say that, but they brought us in, and they literally brought us in, and we've grown with them, and we've become a great part of their success. Many of you may have saw the earnings announcement. Siemens did very well in their fourth quarter, and looking forward to a great 2024 as well, fiscal year. So just great to be a part of the company, and excited to share some of the success we've had with our site as well.
Okay. So Steve, turn your camera back on, please, and your microphone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Excellent. That's good. So this is Steve Burry. He's been a judge for us. I don't know how many years, Steve, you'll have to tell us, but recently made a job change, and currently he's EVP of Customer Success at Schema AI. So I don't know anything about them. Steve, and tell us a little bit more than I can about what you do. And also mention about, your experience as a judge.
Yeah. So I can't remember if this is my third or fourth year as a judge, but I've been a member of ASP and been around the ASP space for a long time. So it's a fantastic organization, obviously. Yeah, Schema AI, I've been a serial startup person for most of my career. I was actually, it's funny, Peter is with PTC, our previous judge. I started at PTC right out of school for many, many years ago, back in '99, in the support organization, really cut my teeth on the support world there. And then continued to join startups as time went on, mostly in the architectural space. So Schema AI is kind of an architectural design enabler, plugs into another company that I worked with, product called Revit, which is now owned by Autodesk, and really helps enable from a design right through a 3D modeling process, and help speed up that whole process from early design right out to construction documents for the construction space. So that's been kind of my history, and Schema AI is very much a startup. They launched in June. I've been there since I think mid-September. So really setting up the support organization and starting the journey again with a new company of setting up a support site. So that's always interesting. I've done it 3 or 4 times, and I learn a ton from these folks. So Bev and I actually lied to you in a correspondence earlier. I was the judge for your site this year. I thought it was 2 years ago. So once I got back in there, though, I'll go, all right, now I remember the site. So it's first of all, congratulations. It is a gorgeous site.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's sort of my history. I don't know if there was anything else you wanted me to cover, Al, but if it's good, I'm ready to jump in to start showing the site.
Well, you could have mentioned any felony convictions, but I think we could probably skip that part.
Never convicted.
Good. That's what's the important part. It doesn't matter if you were accused. It only matters if you were convicted. Now go ahead and show the site, please.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, Peter and Christine set a pretty high bar. I don't know if I have an hour's worth of content here, and part of that is due to the fact that this site is so streamlined. So can y'all see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yep.
And really what I want to do is kind of do a top-down approach on the site. And before I get too deep, I don't want to bury the lead. One of the things I really like about the way Siemens presented their site, and a lot of it revolves around the customer experience, is the fact that much of the content you'll see at the top is ubiquitous on all the sites or throughout the entire site. And where it makes sense, breadcrumbs are enabled as well, and we'll see that in a bit. I don't want to understate that. The fact that you really have access back to your top level, back to your support center, search is always there, really is very, very comforting from a customer experience perspective. It gives you the ability to know, okay, I'm where I should be, and if I'm find myself in a cul-de-sac somewhere where I'm, maybe don't know exactly how I got there or where I am, I have the ability to get back quickly. And for a new user, it's incredibly, incredibly important. So I wanted to kind of start with that and congratulate you on that. Again, it's one of those things that sounds simple, but probably took quite a bit to make sure that experience was the way it was. One of the other things I like about it is the overall dashboard. So when you land on this page, it kind of gives you a charcuterie board or a sample platter of really what's available in the site. Like the product centers. And one thing I don't know, Bevan, maybe you can speak to this, is how many products do you support through the site?
We've got, so our hierarchy, our top level products, we have a lot of products that we support. Our entire portfolio probably has 350 plus products that are offered to our customers. Now, obviously, not every customer has access or has a license for every one of those products. Some of our larger customers, obviously, they have quite a few. And so we constantly have to balance this experience between those customers that log into the site and
Yep.
have entitlements for a large set of products, and how do we optimize that experience versus those that come in that are a small mom and pop shop that
Yep.
maybe they just have one product and that's all they have and that's all they're interested in. How do we manage and balance that out? So that's where, kind of that managing their product visibility became a really, really important aspect of it, because there are companies that have, hundreds of products that they may use from Siemens, but a particular user may only come in and their project, they may only be using one product or two
Right.
products that they're trying to get help with. So we needed to manage that experience and allow them to come in and adjust their product visibility so they're not searching across hundreds of different products.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. And my guess is when you first log in, you get access to everything your company has purchased, right? But then,
Yes.
like Devin said, you have the ability to narrow that down, because as a user, chances are good as an individual, you're going to use one or two of these things. So this piece of being able to turn on and off various things is huge. So I really like that. And then again, further down on the page, we've got the ability, you've got a kind of a sample of, hey, we offer downloads. Here are some that you may be interested. We've got knowledge base, we've got videos, and the fact that the support cases are always visible, which is really nice, training, communities, account center. So again, sort of a sample platter on your dashboard of the product centers that you've got in your scope is really nice. One of the other things I didn't want to overlook, because I actually just did this on my own site, is a help on help. And you make it available on your dashboard, which is really nice, because, as simple as you try and make a website, and as logical as it is to you, it's always going to have a little bit of a nuance here or there that a new user may not necessarily understand or really appreciate. So that giving somebody the opportunity to learn about, hey, this is how we've presented the experience of this site. This is what you can expect on the site. Should not be overlooked. I kind of thought that was a small point, but an important one, and one that I really respected. So I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So again, a kind of a top-down look. This top bar, right? You've got a whole bunch of languages. As a judge, it's hard to know, hey, should Farsi be in here or not? But it was encouraging to see that you've got a bunch of different common language and a few less common languages. So that's definitely points for. What else did we have here? The comprehensive account profile. You can go into managing your profile, managing your account. Really simple, but again, very straightforward, and very powerful. So going into this, it gives you lots of opportunities to make changes on, hey, what are my training? What are my things? That some other things that you might be interested in doing as an account person. Really appreciated that. And again, as I drill into these, I'm getting breadcrumbs, and I always have the ability to go back up to whatever level I want to get to. Love the fact that Support Center is always available. Your product on this next level, the fact that you've got, some of the most important or the most common tools that you're going to be accessing as available here, right? So I got my product lists. I've got downloads specific to those products, and support cases is always available. I know in some sites they make you do a song and dance, search our knowledge base first. They kind of hide and make you do work before you can get there. You guys don't do that, which I really respect. In some cases, it's important that happen. Doesn't feel like that's where you guys are, but it's fantastic. And one of the other things that I really like is the ability, once you get into a knowledge base article, if it's something that you're going to be referring back to on a regular basis, you have the ability to save it and come back to it on a regular basis, which is a really, really nice feature. So Anything I missed on that piece, Bevan, that you want to call out?
I think I would just call out that the downloads, the what's new in the knowledge base, the latest videos, those are all driven by, again, by the product visibility and the products they're entitled to. So we don't show them anything that they don't want to see. So once they reduce their product visibility to just those products they want to see, then the information in each of those tiles in each of those sections changes, based upon what's available to them. So, if they turn off NX, for example, then we won't show them any content for NX. We won't show them the downloads for NX, for example. So the site is customized, personalized based upon what they do here within their profile, within the product visibility here. So it's a big aspect of it.
Fantastic. Yeah.
The other item that I think is something that we just recently rolled out with all of the hype that's happening around AI is with our search.
And I'll be getting to that in a second.
Okay, great. I'm going to hold that. I won't steal your thunder on that then.
Yeah, no issues.
But yeah, otherwise, I think you covered the other aspects of it perfectly well.
I also noticed that it gives you the ability to do live chat during business hours, which is cool. But it also doesn't jump out at you. I've been on some sites where if you're on the site for a little while, it'll splash out in front of you and be like, "Hey, can we help?" And this is enough in my view.
Yeah, it's been interesting. We don't at Siemens, we don't provide chat support for our products. Our products are very, very complicated. If anybody was on with Cadence yesterday, they brought up the same fact that our support engineers are highly educated. They're master's degrees, some have PhDs. They have advanced degrees because of the complicated nature of the products that we support.
Yeah.
And so chat doesn't always lend itself to being able to work on a very technical type product that may have a customized solution for the customer. The product has been customized for them, and
Right.
So the issues they run into may be very specific bugs or issues that they need addressed. Chat doesn't necessarily lend itself to being able to support them very well that way. So the chat that we have there is again for kind of more of the help of the website help and website assistance.
Understood. Okay.
Cool.
All right. So next piece, the search bar. Again, don't want to undersell it, that the ability to be able to narrow down on even if I have these 6 or 7 products available, be able to narrow down on that. Super nice. I like, as an expert search person myself, the ability to support Boolean, exact search strings, wildcards, things like that. Really appreciate that. So your search does support that. And it does look like it, as you were mentioning, it does support AI or natural language search. So if I were to do a search in here, it does Solid Edge support Pro Engineer files, being a PTC guy from way back. It does look like it gives you a kind of an AI suggested response, but makes it super clear that this is coming out of AI. And I love that. That's really smart, especially with the nascency of AI. So people know what they're getting into. In this case, hey, yep, it supports it, and then it'll bring you to the knowledge base article out of AI, but the other results that are maybe not pushed out of AI are also available to you in the list. So I think you wanted to speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, we love the idea of being able to give a direct answer, to our customers. We do have a disclaimer there, as we should, related to the AI responses that come back, but just the simplicity and the ease of being able to get a direct answer without having to look in the content itself or go from piece of content to piece of content. that AI can bring back that direct answer. Now, if that initial answer wasn't what you expected or wasn't what you were looking for, you can regenerate another answer, and we pull back another answer up to, I think, 10 right now, that they can regenerate those, and it'll bring back another one that we hope will resolve the issue based upon another piece of content, another knowledge article, or another documentation release file that maybe does that. So you can see that it kind of changes as you do that with different content. Yeah. And then the thumbs up and thumbs down, we utilize that. So we hope that our customers will, once they do find the right answer, or if they don't, and they say this isn't the right answer, that they'll give us that feedback. And that feedback is used to train the engine on the back end to help tell the engine that, yep, this was the right answer. Remember that. And when this comes up again, then generate that as the first answer. Or if it wasn't and it's a thumbs down, then again, it trains the engine that actually wasn't the right answer for this search query. And so we have that real-time feedback to the engine. But again, we thought it was important that we still provide the traditional search results here, so that if they don't want to utilize that AI, they can go ahead and scroll through the content. They can filter down on the different resource types.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, did notice that. That's nice. So this is part of the machine learning piece of it then. That's fantastic.
Indeed.
Yeah, and I did notice if I drilled into some of the articles, I had the ability, I'm not seeing it here now though. Maybe that's further on down the line. But one of the things I really like is the fact, here it is that you consider, and you've kind of pulled that communities component into your core knowledge base. I think my experience in the past is sometimes your users are your most valuable resource, and sometimes that community is some of the most valued feedback and some of the most valued information that your site can provide to other users. So I love that you've included that. I've had challenges with that in my past, trying to get those two to merge together. A lot of times they start in different worlds, and then when you try and mash them together, it's also very important. I assume your communities are moderated so that you've got the ability for teams to be able to say, yes, this is the right answer, this is a good answer, and things like that. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yep.
No,
and we pull those in. Yeah, we curate that content and we pull those in based upon that. Those posts, those discussions that are identified as most correct or most accurate, as identified by our moderators. So yeah, we do ensure that we're pulling those most accurate and most correct discussions into Support Center.
Cool. Yeah, very cool. And then I also love the fact that you do videos. I think it speaks to people's different learning styles. For instance, my wife, if you show her a picture of something, she's completely lost, but you give her a bullet list of those things, extremely verbal, extremely visual from a word perspective. I'm the other way. You show me a picture of something or a short video, I learn much better. So being able to support both types of learners is super important. So love that. One of the other things I noticed, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, but I turned off NX. But if there is an answer to a question or a search result that's available, when I did this before, it was coming up with some. It does give me the ability to discover and create opportunities, because this is coming out of the NX CAM piece, right? So if you ask a question that might not be covered in your content, your site still finds a way to be able to say, yep, I'm not going to give you 0 answers, but your answers are really over here, and it might give you some discoverability around, I might actually need this product, or maybe I should turn that one back on because I've got some solutions available there. I don't know how you pulled that off. That's pretty cool.
Yes, indeed. It's intentional. But again, if there is a search query that has some elements of NX in it, then yeah, we certainly don't want to hide that. especially if it's going to help the customer resolve their issues. So we do intentionally try to bring those back in and just give them a heads up saying, hey, look, there's some stuff here for NXCam. We encourage you to look at that and and turn that back on so more information comes through.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, so the product centers was kind of the next piece. Was there anything about search that I left out that you wanted to touch on?
No, I think you covered that well.
Excellent. I've also noticed that as I'm navigating through in my drop downs and in product center listings, the most recent one I was on is the one that's made most available, which is really smart. Kind of helps the user experience. Again, I'm probably only going to use 2, maybe 3 of your products as an individual, especially if I'm, at the tactical level and doing the operational stuff in those softwares. So it's really cool that you kind of promote those up, even if I haven't limited my list in my list of visibility. So love that. And as I go into various product centers, this is where you start exposing some of the breadcrumbs, right? So I can go back home, I can go to support center, I can go to Solid Edge. Again, if I lead myself down into a cul-de-sac, I know how to get back out. And there's very few things more frustrating than getting onto a page, wondering how you got there and wondering how the heck to get back. So really, really solid. You've got the whole getting started, which is really important to new users. Knowledge base, again, you focus on community, which is brilliant. So, all your basic tools are available right in the top. And again, context is everything, right? All your products, all your downloads, all your support cases are still available, even though I've gone into Product Center. And I've been on sites where once you go to a Product Center, you're like in a different world. You don't know how you got there. Sometimes you don't know how to get back, and you've got to go back up to your browser bar and just be started. So contextually having these items available at all times, and then adding this 4th bar without eating up a ton of real estate is really nice. Similar dashboard in this case, right? Kind of gives you the top highlight. Hey, here's some things that we want to promote from the knowledge base. Here's some getting started, highlights, community, things like that. I got to ask you, are the dashboards things that you intentionally promote, or are they most recent? How do you identify what content gets pushed and pushed to the top in your dashboards?
That's a good question. So from a knowledge base perspective, there's actually some AI built into this. So depending on, we capture the different search queries, the different content that they click on. So if they click on a particular knowledge base article or documentation, etc., we capture all of that. We have kind of an AI backend that says, oh, okay, this user prefers this type of content. And based upon that, then we pull back the recommended articles for them to look at, with the hope that it will more likely address their need or be something that they're interested in. So there is a small AI element that curates what comes back here from the knowledge base. Similarly, on the getting started, we have a similar approach to that. Yep. So, and then here on the getting started page, these are articles that are specifically tagged, if you will, as getting started articles. And these are curated by our support teams and others that say, hey, yeah, this article is specifically for getting started. We tag it as that. And with that tag, it pulls it into this getting started experience.
Very cool. And the ability to understand what resources you're pulling from is also really nice, and being able to turn them on and off is really nice. And you have a ton of kind of resource buckets, I should say, that you can pull from, which is really, really nice. Now, are these basically just tags that you tag with? Is that how that? Okay.
Yep.
Really
it's
nice.
based upon our hierarchy, and the content gets tagged with that. And I really did like the little search capability. So I took a mental note of that from the Red Hat site, where you can expand, but you can also do a little search there. And I thought that was quite intuitive and a very, very easy way to find what you're looking for, especially when the list gets quite long. So I took a note of that.
Very cool. The ability to work on the version that's most applicable to you or that you were on is really cool. Just again, kind of top down. It kind of felt, they made a reference about a pyramid. It kind of feels like this one's going this way, right? Where you start with everything and you drill, and you're giving the user the ability to drill based on what they know they're looking for, to really try and help narrow them down and focus them in on what they're looking for. So I absolutely appreciate that.
Yeah, I did get a recommendation. If you go into products there, Steve, and choose Expedition.
Okay. Manage products.
Let's see here. Yeah, go into manage products and let's see if I entitled this to your actually go to I don't think I have Expedition. Scroll all the way down and see if it's down there. Yeah, there we go. That one right there.
Perfect.
Yeah, so turn on the visibility and then you can click into that. Yep. And then go to the getting started. And I just wanted to show you that really quickly because we enabled the ability for our teams to, so right at the top there, all those tiles, you didn't see it with Solid Edge, but with Expedition, you can see we enabled them to be able to curate the content to give a great kind of logical getting started experience for it. It goes from, step 1, topic 2, topic 3, all the way through to topic 7 that says, hey, follow this little journey, if you will. And that will help you get the product set up and installed, configured, and everything else, and help you get up and running. So we hope that resolves some issues that they may run into when they're trying to get the product up and running.
Kind of a product tour from start to finish to get you up and running. That's really cool. Cool. Yeah. The other thing I noted, and I don't know how much, my guess is most of your tools are desktop tools, right? But you do have a mobile site, which was interesting.
We do.
And I did play around with it on the mobile side a little bit. It's a little compressed. This is on my Android Pixel 2.
Yeah.
But it wasn't foreign, which was interesting. It was very much a very similar experience. I knew what I was getting to. I had the 3 top bars. I had my search bar. Again, things are a little pressed, but product visibility. I had the ability to get to my products, and then again, it was kind of those dashboards. So kudos on whatever platform you use to make your mobile experience super similar and not completely foreign to the website. So really appreciate that.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm glad you looked at that.
Yeah. And again, it's tough sometimes for a judge to know, should this be important or not, right? Kind of like the languages. How important is it that, this language is missing or not there? A lot of the products that I've supported in the past, we were English, French, German. That's it. So the fact that I didn't have 10 languages would have been points against me, maybe not, but it's not, potentially not important. So, but nice to know that, being able to support people where they are is super important, and the language they speak. So that's kind of the pieces that I wanted to point out in terms of why I really liked your site, and why I'm glad you guys and you yourself won the award. Part of what I know as a judge, and I know as an end user of a website, and as a curator and creator of websites, probably half of it is that user experience, and you've done a really nice job setting up the user experience. The other half, which is just as important, is the quality of the product. You gave a nice essay on how you manage the quality and make sure content's up to date, but I'd like you to speak to that, because the other thing that's probably the most frustrating thing for a user is to drill down to the exact question or problem they're having, go into that solution, and that solution no longer applying for whatever reason. It's out of date. It just doesn't apply to my version. So if you could let me know, What's your company's strategy and tactics to ensure that the content is up to date and accurate?
Yeah, great. I appreciate that. Again, if you were on yesterday, there was a lot of discussion about the KCS methodology and utilizing the consortium around KCS, and our team, our organization, our company subscribes deeply, to the KCS methodology, and putting that in place and ensuring that that our support engineers are creating high quality content, that they are linking that content to cases so that we know that the content is being utilized, that they are reusing that content often, before they try to go back to the customer with a solution, that they're searching for that content first. If there's content available, that they're reviewing that content, that they're improving it at the time of use, and always looking to ensure that content is up to date, current, and accurate. And so the KCS methodology is our key approach to making sure that happens. That we've got coaches and KDEs on board. The coaches are doing the article quality reviews. They're doing the case reviews, and we're keeping track of that. We're reporting out on the process adherence around that. So that's where, that's how we keep our site current. And then we also have a process that we do called, we call it affectionately the ROT process. It's the redundant, outdated, or trivial content, or even terrible content, if you will. And we have business logic where it goes through our content, our knowledge base articles, and we have some business rules behind that says, hey, if the content hasn't been viewed, if it hasn't been linked within a certain amount of time, then we go ahead and we archive that content. So that then what that does is it ensures that if that content isn't actively being used by our support engineers and by our customers, then we want to make sure that our database and our knowledge base is as current as possible. And so it takes and it archives those old articles that just aren't being used anymore. And so that's a big part of our strategy as well.
That's great. Do you get any, do you have customer advisory boards on your content, or do you get direct feedback from customers?
We get that direct feedback just from the article itself. So
Okay.
You may have seen that on the right side there. We get a fair amount of feedback, regardless of whether they click, either the thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yeah, the
We
yes,
allow
no here,
them the
yeah.
opportunity, to give us feedback. So
Outstanding.
yeah, it was mentioned yesterday that often, they're only given the ability to give feedback if they say no, this article wasn't helpful.
Right.
But we subscribe to the same idea that, hey, we want feedback no matter what. If the article was great, give us feedback on that and let us know why you thought it was great. If it didn't meet your needs, then again, give us that feedback and we're going to action that.
Very cool. Well, Al, that was kind of the extent of it. I don't know if you had questions, or if there were questions that came in from the group.
We haven't seen any questions yet, but we're going to give them a few minutes. So if anyone has a question, this would be a good time to post it in the meeting chat. That's where we're looking for them. And let me just say thank you to both of you. I'm not dismissing you yet, but just want to give my sincere thanks to both of you. Steve, it's always interesting to me to meet judges. I mean, even though you've been judging for us for a while, we don't normally regularly FaceTime or anything. So it's great to see you face to face and to watch you in action. That's even more interesting. You gave a great tour, and I appreciate that. Particularly, I think it's helpful for people to really see the things that you think are worthy of note. And
Yeah.
you have the experience to know the difference between, and to know what's more difficult and what's easier. So your comments are noted and appreciated. And Bevan, second year as a winner, but also You do I was thinking about, if Steve asked you some questions, I was thinking, wow, he's kind of puts him on the spot. And Steve, I'm not saying that in a critical way. It's good, but I'm not sure everybody in every company that works on or submits their website can answer all those kinds of questions. I mean, it's obviously you're not doing all the work yourself, so you got to be on top of things to really know the answers to all those questions.
Hmm. We have a lean, mean machine, and so unfortunately, yeah, we don't have 200 individuals behind this, and so we are in the day-to-day throes of this because we have a small team that we spend significant time being in those details and making sure that everything is working well. And so yes, because of that, I do have to have a breadth of understanding and knowledge across how the site works, and work closely with my development team and with my product managers to ensure that everything is working as it should, and the customer experience is what we expect. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, your team deserves all the congratulations that they, I'm sure, have gotten since winning this award 2 years in a row. But as you can see, you've got some big shoes to fill or chase after with companies like
Indeed.
NetApp and Red Hat. They got a few years of awards ahead of you. But also you pointed out that you noted something from Red Hat's presentation, I think, and from some of the presentations yesterday that are helpful to you.
Absolutely. There's no doubt. Again, one of the greatest benefits of this is being able to learn from those that have already had great success in this space, and certainly we look forward to this every year to see what success they've had, what they're doing well, and what things we can do to improve, based upon what they're having success with. So that's the best part about it, and so appreciate the opportunity and appreciate the visibility that it brings, not only to our site but also to being able to see these other award-winning sites.
Well, from an ASP perspective, we're delighted that we can help to facilitate, to allow companies to share. When you're working in a company, you know a lot about your support website, but you don't necessarily get a chance to see others. So this opportunity to share is great, and we have some high praise from Christine Bryant, the one who was earlier on here from Red Hat. She said, "I really like the Siemens site. It's one I looked at when we were looking for inspiration earlier this year. Really nice." So that's pretty high praise from somebody who knows the difference and knows what she's talking about.
No doubt about it. Thank you, Christine. It's very much appreciated, and likewise on your side.
Yeah, that's not damning with faint praise, but at all. That's really, I mean, for Red Hat to compliment another company is a pretty big deal. So I thought I saw another one. In any case, any more questions? Time to get them in, or you're going to miss your chance. We'll be reviewing the next site here pretty soon. So, Steve, any last thoughts or comments?
No, great job, Bevan. Yeah, really well done. And I think you've captured some of the most important elements of a site. And keep up the good work. Congratulations.
Well,
Yeah.
Steve,
Hey.
I want to thank you and the other 4 judges who judged this site, but also the many others who judged sites for us this year and who've been judged for us in most cases for years. You don't get paid by us. You don't get trophies like the winners do. The winners actually get trophies anyway.
Oh,
The
nice.
judges don't get trophies. I try to find ways to reward you here and there. They do get copies of the 2 main reports we put out every year. So we recently sent them copies of our report on trends and observations from this year, which is kind of a moving state of the art of support websites piece. And that's where all the entry information is shared. So if you want to know more about what Red Hat had to say, or Siemens had to say about their entry into this competition, that's a place to read it. It's available on our website, free to ASP members, and available at a modest charge for anybody that's not a member. And we hope to continue doing this for another 26 years. We'll see. But we're already readying plans for next year. Bevan, I want to ask you about this one, because I'm considering making a small change. We're going to keep, of course, all of our veteran and very well-qualified judges. I'm thinking about maybe getting some less well-qualified people, more, because I mean, not everybody can guarantee they have sophisticated users that know a lot about support, right? And even a sophisticated user may not know anything about support per se. So I'm thinking about having some judges that don't use the same scorecard, don't look at all the same things that we ask our current judges to look at, but are more what I would call a non-support sophisticate. They're just a typical person that you might get as a new user on your website, to get a different look. What do you think about that? Would that have value, or are you already doing stuff like that?
You know, it's interesting you bring that up, because when we go out and we do these user groups, for example, it's been interesting. Early on, we tended to, to go to those individuals that were already using our site, right? That we wanted feedback from them to say, yeah, you've used our site. What could, here are the things we're anticipating changing, improving. We want your feedback on that. And we get some fantastic feedback from them. But then we thought about that and we said, gosh, we should probably consider those individuals that maybe haven't used our site before, and because we may get different feedback from them, a different understanding on just the overall usability and the simplicity of the site. And so we started reaching out to individuals that were just interested in participating, but yet not part of our support community, if you will. And it's been very, very enlightening, to bring in individuals like that who are just open to giving us feedback, have never used the site before, and it opened up a lot more insight on the site may not be as simple as what we thought, because we were getting feedback from our users that had been using it for quite some time, and they just get used to it. We kind of train them on the experience we want them to have, right? But yet, if we step back and we say, let's go to those new users or those that have never been there, it opened up a lot more feedback, a lot more insight that we just weren't getting. So,
well, that's why
long story way of saying, yes, I think that would be very valuable.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you very much for responding to that. And so, yeah, we're seriously considering it. Actually, I'm used to vetting all of our judges for relevant experience, and Steve knows that I do that. Nobody gets to be a judge without my personal vetting to make sure that they know enough to be a good judge. But a consultant friend of mine said he didn't think he was going to keep judging for us because he wasn't sure he was current enough with all of the particularly with AI coming in, all the different technologies and everything. And he and I had a long conversation, which resulted in my taking a look. I said, don't go away. We need a diversity in our feedback and in our judging, but I am looking at creating a whole different panel of judges to do just that, to add more of a different element to it. So in any case, thanks to both of you. My congratulations again to you, Bevan, but also to all your Tiger team there at Siemens.
Thank you.
And if you will blank your screens and cut off your mics, we'll move on to the next presentation.